What's up, everyone? You're here with Goran from Pickdawgz, and thank you for joining me here for your free picks for the MLS on Saturday, July 20th. Well, guys, another Saturday, and as we usually do, we do have a lot of games in the MLS on the schedule. 14 games to be exact. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and after that are the kickoff times. And it's going to be another interesting and fun Saturday night. Last week, actually, make that on Wednesday. We also had 14 games, and we've hit 9 of those 14 while losing 5, and unfortunately losing that parlay because Cincinnati lost the game at home to Chicago, and I was highly disappointed in that one, but I do have another parlay for you at the end of this video. It's another five-legger. And I also just want to say, guys, that after this round of the MLS, they are going on a bit of a break. Well, it's going to be a month-long break or so, because we are getting that Leagues Cup, which is a competition between the MLS clubs and Liga MX clubs as well, from Mexico. So that's going to be fun time, and we will be covering all of those games as well, which means that you will be getting a lot of free picks for those games and that competition as well. Um, if you are interested in my best bets, guys, simply click the link in the description of this video. That will get you up to my page in the pickdawgz.com premium section where you can sign up. You can get daily passes, 3-day passes, or even 7-day passes if that's something you want to do. And luckily for us, we are slowly getting those European leagues back. The Danish Super League already kicked off on Friday. We have the Eliteserien in Norway. Allsvenskan in Sweden. We are getting Switzerland back, if I'm not mistaken, this weekend as well. And we also have Belgian Super Cup, which means that their national league will be kicking off in a few days as well. So, like I said, we are slowly getting those European leagues back, and before you know it, we'll be back at full power with the EPL, La Liga Serie A, French League One, and Bundesliga as well. Now, if you're one of those big bettors who likes to bet $500 and above that, who doesn't mind waiting for the top picks to an hour to half an hour before the game time, sign up for that Golden Boot VIP access. Simply text the word gold to the number above that you can see, 443-780-5663, and we'll get you set up. We've been making some nice money on that. And those are my top bets, guys. Those are the bets that I put a lot of money on myself. Those are the bets where I make most of my money as well. So if you feel like you can afford it, if you like to bet, if you like to be one of those betters, like I said, text the word goal to the number, and we'll get you set up. Just have in mind, it's not a free service, guys. It's a paid pass, and it's a 30-day long pass as well. Now that we are done with all of this, guys, let's get this show on the road with the MLS. The first game that we have is between Atlanta and Columbus. This one could be very interesting because we have two teams in a decent form. Atlanta coming off of a draw to New York City, and they definitely needed at least a positive result out of that game. They got it. They had a 2-0 lead, if I'm not mistaken, then ended up gambling it away to get a 2-2 draw. Columbus, on the other side, hasn't lost any of their last 6 games in a row. And even though they're coming off of a draw to Charlotte 1-1, I do expect goals in this game. I think that both teams will try to go for the win here, especially Atlanta at home. And with that, I'm taking both teams to score in over 2.5 at minus 143. For our next matchup, guys, we have this Canadian derby between Montreal and Toronto. Toronto got a win last week against Philadelphia at home 2-1, but then they ended up losing to Inter Miami 3-1 on Wednesday on the road. And this is now their second game on the road in a row. They're playing against Montreal, who is slowly rising their form, lost only one of their last 5 games. And when playing at home, they haven't lost to Toronto in any of their last 4 games. Now, when it comes to scoring goals, Toronto never had problems with that this season. Their biggest problem is the defense or the lack thereof. But maybe because they're getting some of the players back from Copa America, they could step it up in this game. However, I simply don't see them keeping a clean sheet just yet. So once again, both teams to score in over 2.5 at minus 118. Inter Miami will be hosting Chicago in the next matchup, guys. And you know what? Even though Chicago is coming off of a win against Cincinnati on their own 1-0, this is actually their second clean sheet in a row. I just don't think they can do it three times in a row against this solid Inter Miami team, the team who's scoring a lot of goals even without Messi in the lineup. So to keep it simple, guys, I'm taking Inter Miami on the money line at minus 143. New England and Dallas is the next matchup in the MLS, guys. And you know what? Dallas is on fire right now. They're scoring a lot of goals. However, they're scoring a lot of goals when playing at home. No, that doesn't say that they're not scoring goals on their own. They are. And as a matter of fact, they've scored 5 goals in their last 3 games on the road. And let's be honest, New England is not that good of a team. They conceded 5 goals against Philadelphia on Wednesday, so they ended up losing that game 5-1. And I just don't see them coming back to that stellar defense that they might expect or hope it's gonna show up. So for this game, guys, I'm taking Dallas team total over 1.5 goals at plus 160. New York Red Bulls is hosting Cincinnati, and I gotta be honest, guys, this is probably gonna be the only game that I will not be betting. New York Red Bulls, yes, undefeated at home so far this season, but they haven't won any of their last 4 games. As a matter of fact, they're on a 4 game draw streak right now. Cincinnati, on the other side, screwed us over twice in a row right now, and both of those losses that they suffered in the last 2 games were at home. Now, when playing on the road, they have won their last 5, 6, 7 games in a row, and they definitely have the potential to do it here in this game. However, until they get their first win after these 2 losses, I'm not touching them. So, if anything, guys, I would take Red Bulls on the money line at minus 105. Orlando will be hosting New York City in what should be a very interesting matchup because Orlando is now on a 4 game winning streak during which they've scored 13 goals and conceded only 2 goals. So they've kept two clean sheets. They've been absolutely outstanding. They are beating everybody and everywhere, whether they played at home or on the road. They are beating teams. Uh, and I think once again they will score at least a couple of goals in this game. So I'm gonna go with Orlando team total over 1.5 goals at minus 114. Philadelphia is hosting Nashville in the next matchup, guys, and I'm gonna keep this one very, very simple. Now, Philadelphia finally got a win there. They broke that negative streak they were on, and luckily for them, they are now facing this Nashville, who is on a 5 game losing streak. Now, Philadelphia hasn't beaten Nashville at home in a while. Last time they've done that was back in 2021, and that was after a penalty shootout. But now that they're coming off of a win, now that they're getting a few players back from the injury list and suspension list, I simply have to take Philadelphia on the money line. It's minus 122. It's a great price. We're getting them at. They're at home, and I do expect them to step it up one more time. Austin and Charlotte is another interesting matchup in the MLS, guys. Austin, definitely a decent team when playing at home, especially. They can score goals, but they can also concede goals. And Charlotte, on the other side, is now undefeated in their last 2 games, losing 2 of their last 6. Their form has been all over the place. And they've played only once against Austin in the past, and they ended up losing that game back in 2022 at home. But these are different teams now, and the form is a lot different. But however I look at this game, guys, I just don't see either side keeping a clean sheet. So for this one, I'm taking both teams to score at minus 161. Minnesota and San Jose is the next matchup, and you know what? Minnesota actually had a decent game against DC United on Wednesday, even though they ended up losing that game 3-2. They scored a couple of goals. They showed some signs of life, and luckily for them, they're now playing against the worst team in the league, a team that they haven't lost to in any of their last 4 home games, and a team that has only 1 win, 1 draw, and not 9 losses on the road so far this season. So I simply have to take Minnesota to win. I do like the price at minus 133. However, I'm going to put my faith completely in Minnesota in this one. And I'm, uh, I'm going to take Minnesota to win and over 2.5 goals at plus 120. Kansas is hosting St. Louis in another interesting matchup in the MLS, guys, and St. Louis just can't catch a break. I think that they will need to wait to improve their form until after the League's Cup is done. They are now on a three-game losing streak. They ended up losing to Vancouver 4-1 at home. They ended up losing to Seattle 2-0 on Wednesday. And now they're playing against Kansas, who's actually undefeated in their last three home games, and they are playing really well right now. They're scoring a lot of goals. With all that in mind, guys, I simply have to side with Kansas on the money line here at minus 108. The price is too good to pass it up against the worst team on the road in the league, and that is definitely St. Louis. Colorado and Salt Lake should be a very, very fun matchup, guys. If you have the opportunity to watch this one, this would be one of the games that I will definitely be tuning into. Uh, Colorado might be coming off of a loss to Galaxy 3-2 on Wednesday, but they are absolutely brilliant when playing at home so far this season. They have scored a ton of goals when playing at home, and they've also ended up conceding over one goal on average when playing at home. Now, Salt Lake on the other side was one of the best teams in the league. However, they have been in a bit of a sloppy form lately, and when playing on the road, they're actually conceding about a goal and a half on average, which simply is going to be a problem for them against this very, very good team from Colorado. So, both teams to score it over two and a half at minus 143. I think that's the way to go in this one. Now, for our next matchup, guys, we have a derby in that West Coast. We have Seattle hosting LAFC, who are struggling a little bit right now. They got a 1-1 draw against Salt Lake. Before that, they ended up losing to Columbus at home 5-1. While Seattle, on the other side, is now actually on a five-game winning streak when playing at home, and they are overall on a six-game winning streak right now while scoring a lot of goals, keeping a bunch of clean sheets. And this is going to be a far from an easy game for LAFC. I definitely am leaning towards Seattle here at plus 150. I honestly think they should be a bit of a bigger favorites. Uh, but I think this one could get a bit choppy, if I'm being honest. I think that there's a bit of a rivalry going on here. I think that the LAFC will try to bounce back. Seattle will try to keep their winning momentum going. And with that in mind, I think we got to see some cards in this one. So I'm going to go with over 4.5 cards at plus 107. But like I said, I am leaning towards Seattle at plus 150. And I might even put half a unit on that bet as well. Vancouver and Houston is another matchup on the West Coast, and Vancouver basically looks unstoppable right now. They are undefeated in their last six games in a row. They have won five of those six games, and they haven't lost to Houston in any of their last 12 home games. Now, Houston on the other side has lost only one of their last six. They're playing well. They're not conceding a lot of goals. They can score. And I do expect them to score a goal here because Vancouver has conceded at least a goal in five of their last six games. And I simply don't see them keeping a clean sheet here against this Houston, who are in a great form as well. So both teams to score it over two and a half at minus 115. And the last pick before the parlay, guys, another matchup on the West Coast. This one is in Los Angeles between Galaxy and Portland. A lot of goals are expected in this one. I can say that from the hop. Over two and a half is listed at minus 294. I do understand why, because both teams are scoring a lot of goals. Galaxy has scored 47 goals this season already. 28 of those were scored at home. Portland is scoring a little bit less on the road, but overall they have scored 48 goals, which is actually more than Galaxy this season. Defensively, they are also a little bit worse than Galaxy, but I think that all pretty much evens out when we take home field and the away into the consideration here. But I do like goals in this one. I know that Galaxy's coming off of a win. Portland also had a great game. They can definitely score goals. I don't think they deserve to be as big of an underdog as they are at plus 250. But I see goals on both sides in this one, and I think it's gonna start early. So for my pick, I'm taking over 1.5 goals in the first half at minus 105. Now we are up to the parlay, guys. Another five-legger, like I said. I'm gonna take Inter Miami team total over 1.5 goals against Chicago. Orlando, New York City over 1.5 goals. I will take Minnesota on the money line. I will take Galaxy versus Portland, both teams to score, and I will take Vancouver versus Houston over 1.5 goals. Plus 436. Hopefully, we hit this parlay before the MLS goes on that break. It would definitely be nice to get more than 9 picks to win for once, maybe 10, 11, 12. Hopefully, teams show up for this last day before that month-long break. Hopefully, we hit this nice parlay. I like it a lot. As usually do, I will put it a whole unit on it, guys, and hopefully we make some money on Saturday night. Thank you for joining me here, guys. Have a great day. Have a very good luck on your MLS picks and all the other bets that you have going on. And of course, stay tuned for more free picks coming up soon.